Hello again, you legends. We're back. I'm back from my holiday post LCBF. Hopefully you enjoyed that little insight into the mayhem that went on over those few days and on the couple of weeks on the run up. I kind of captured as much footage as I could. Obviously, you can never capture everything, not as much as I'd like, but it was pretty crazy, and I was due a holiday, so I had sort of best part of 2.5 weeks drinking my own body weight in cheap Spanish lager and not doing very much. It was a great holiday, I had a great time, but we're back. So what's been going on since we've been back from holiday? We had some stuff going on while I was away, a bit more packaging going on. Get the last few beers out of a tank and into kegs, which Kirsty did. We'll have to do a video and introduce you to Kirsty. Just so if you didn't know, so Kirsty started as our second member of staff, and we're training her up to be able to brew for us. She's already had a number of years brewing elsewhere, but she's come on board to kind of learn to make our styles of beer. She's worked at a trad brewery before. So we'll be going through that and sort of over the next sort of coming months. I don't think it'll take her long, to be honest, to be able to get a handle of the brew kit here, but and then we've been back. We've had one brew day already. Literally the first weekend after coming back, we were straight in, me and Kirsty, and we've got a beer in tank as we speak, which is going to be obviously I was working on recipes while I was away on holiday, right? Because I couldn't sit down and necessarily do nothing the whole time. So we've got a really nice crisp summer French field saison in tank, Hallertau Blanc and Saz. It's hopped with using Lallemand farmhouse yeast. It's glugging away quite nicely. We're on day 3 now. We fermented it quite cool, so I want it to finish quite clean and crisp. I'm not after like a big clovey kind of saison bomb, as it were. Should finish about 4.7%. Nice crisp. Should finish about 1009, 1010. Good crisp summer beer. The collaboration we did with my mate Brolly at Brook Canary, that saison went down a storm at the tap room, so kind of hoping that we'll have something similar but my own that people will like here. So we've had that. So one of the things I've been thinking about while I was away on holiday, sat in a sun lounger, had to think about something and do something while I was there, was what we can do to take our beer to the next level. What can we do to improve the quality of our beer, give us the ability to make more and different beer styles, and really kind of push our beer quality on and what we can make. Now we're really lucky here where we are in Kingsley. Our water here is super good, quite low on minerals, calcium levels quite low, but I do think there's a lot to be said for really being able to strip your water down and being able to build it exactly where you want it. Even though, you know, we do quite well here. Our bicarbonate is still a little bit higher than I'd like. So, bit of searching online, bit of thinking, matching it to a budget, all that kind of stuff. I've invested in a small RO system for us. The idea being that we're going to start using 50% tap water, sort of straight service water, and then RO the other 50% of the brewing water that we're going to use. That's to kind of save on waste, because obviously, you know, RO is quite a wasteful process. But because our water is quite good, I think actually doing a 50-50 split of RO and tap water should get us pretty close. I've done some calculations in it, and it's going to get us pretty close to where I'd like us to start from. Obviously, it's not a complete blank slate, but ROing 1,200 litres through your average small system, which this system I'll show you in a sec, allegedly can do 200 litres an hour. You know, that's going to take ages, whereas actually if we only need 500-600, you know, a couple of 3 hours, you can do that the day before, a couple of days before, while you're doing a tap room or something like that. So in theory, it becomes a bit more sensible. So I'm going to set this up, get it plumbed up. I've got it flushed for an hour before we're allowed to start taking water from it. Had a bit of a challenge around working out the right hose connections and all this sort of stuff, because this unit I've got only comes on like 3/8 beer line. That is the supply in and the supply out. So I've had to kind of think about how I can get that in out of the source, out of the taps, out of the pipe what we have here, but then also then get it into my hot liquor tank. So let me show you the RO system I've got, and then we'll go from there. So this is the RO system I've gone for. It's not the most expensive in the world. I did a lot of looking around for different options, and some of the commercial bigger RO systems do get up into this kind of £1,000 territory. And I didn't feel like we were quite ready for this just yet. So this system, some of the hoses that come with, this system here was 400 quid, came from Reverse Osmosis World. Where else would you buy reverse osmosis systems from than the website that's RO World? So it's a 5-stage system, and it's got its own filtering and backwash computer, which was one of the things I wanted. I didn't have to get into doing manual backwashes all the time. So we've got 3-stage primary filters across the bottom, which is taking out particulates, carbon filter, and then a finer particulate filter. We've got the 2 actual reverse osmosis filters on the top. The filters come separately wrapped. I've actually already loaded them. I realized after I did that, I should have shown you what they look like, but taking all this apart to get this in was a right old faff, so I'm not gonna do it again. So you just have to trust me on that one. And then this is the final post filter. So that's your final water outlet. This is water in, and then just around the side there is your wastewater out. So as you can see here, it comes out on 3/16, which I've got then sized back up to 3/8. 3/8 water in, and then the waste that comes out of the RO system is 3/16. So it's got a pump built in, which I think if I turn it around, I can show you. This is the back of it. Hang on a second, there we go. So power supply, pump built in, because these things need to run at a certain pressure with a pressure cut-off switch. And yeah, it says it can do 200 litres an hour, which I'm slightly dubious of, but you know, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. So I've got to get this all set up. I'm just going to set it up temporarily here to run the flush through it, get the computer running, and then yeah, just see how it performs. So this is the hose and the fittings that come with it. There's a couple of 3/16 to 3/8 converters, and then like a straight 3/16 to 3/16 joiner, I think, and then a tap comes with a weird sample tap. And then you get a length of 3/8 and some 3/16. But you get nothing to connect it to anything with, which was proven to be really tricky. So after much research and working out, I eventually managed to find a John Guest 3/8 that's actually 3/4 of an inch BSP, so it means it will actually go over a tap. Because actually over here behind the whirlpool, I installed a tap there ages ago, right when I was building all of this, thinking I might need a tap there, fill up buckets or something, but actually I've never really used it. So I'm thinking we're going to utilize this and then use it as the feed in to go in here. So 3/8 straight into there. And then I've had to work out how am I going to get it from the tap over there through this thing, which needs power, and then you need to run it to waste, which is obviously needs to go in the drain here, but then also get it all the way around and then into my hot liquor tank. The way the system currently works at the moment, this is the pump that we use for delivery, can draw from either the cold liquor tank or the hot liquor tank, pump it out just by using these valves. The cold liquor tank is filled directly off the mains. I've got a little on-off valve around the corner. We top this up, top the cold liquor tank all the way up, chill it down. If we want to fill the hot liquor tank as well, we run water into the cold liquor tank, open the 2 cross connection valves, and obviously the thing balances and fills up. If we're in a real pinch and there's one thing going on, we can pump it out of one, out the hose, straight up, and then into the other, and vice versa. That can be done. What also then happens is when we're using the cold liquor for chilling down at the end of the brew day, our heat exchanger here, we recover the hot water that comes out, and it comes out in this 22mm push fit, which is a big insulated John Guest push fit, comes all the way around the outside of the brewery, comes up, and then goes in to the top of the hot liquor tank. So we recover probably 60 to 70 degree hot water as it comes at the heat exchanger, chilling the work down from anything between 75, 78 or boiling before it goes into the FE, which is great. But then I need to put 50%, 600 odd litres of RO water into this tank. How do I get it in there when I've only got a 3/8 bit of hose and I've got some big old 22mm John Guest stuff going up there? So here's my idea. Okay, first things first is I've got the power lead. Let's get that hooked up. 3-pin, so proper UK. Let's just turn that off for the moment. And then let's get that plugged in to the back. So it's got a bloody kind of classic, almost kettle lead. Well, it is a kettle lead really in my book. Power supply that goes into the back. So I do need to have a bit of a think about what we're going to do about making not waterproof, but make it at least electrically safer in the brewery, as it were. Interestingly, it's got these little like end caps on the connections that you make, apart from the out by the looks of it, to kind of help you know. So this here is labelled the number 2, the out waste, as it were. I'm going to put my glasses on. Don't get old, kids. So that's waste out, which is obviously on this 3/16. Obviously we've got a 3/4 inch BSP to 3/8 that I'm going to stick on the tap to get that over here, to get the feed here. I'm going to try and avoid trimming anything down, because obviously we're just setting it up in a kind of not quite temporary position, but we're setting it up. So we've got some 3/8 here. I'm probably going to go and buy some like 10, 15 meters of 3/8 to run this properly tomorrow while I'm out for the day job, so we can run it all the way around the outside. I'm thinking either have this over by the tap and then run the output, the clean RO'd water, all the way around the outside and up and in, or run the water from the tap all the way, the raw water all the way around the outside, and then locate the RO machine, if you want to use the word, like really close to the hot liquor tank. Quite worked out what would be the best place. I'll have a bit of a think about that one, about what would be the best way round. I'm thinking maybe might be better to get this closer to the tank. I've read about that you can't really run RO water through like copper pipes and stuff, because it's RO water. It's got a propensity to try and kind of absorb all the minerals it can, because you just strip them all out. So it will kind of go a bit mental. Obviously this is just running through plastic pipe, but even so, I'd imagine sensibility tells me to get the output as close to the to wherever you want it. So if I use this to go from the main tap into here, and then I use the white hose they've provided as like the output for now, anyway, at least. So this is, that's to drain. So that's the 3/16, that's the drain, but this is the output as well, I'm pretty sure, because it's post-filter, so it's got to be. But that is 3/16. I want that to be a bit bigger. I'd like to get that out. I don't know if it really matters, to be honest. I've got a they've given you a 3/16 to 3/16 to 3/8 converter. Just make sure it is. Yeah, it is. I'm guessing for that reason. There's quite an interesting 3-way valve. Sorry, the chillers are going because the FE. This thing is more, you get given one of those funny little sample faucets. If you could have this like under a sink or something like that, as well as supplying other places, which I guess you might need or want. Various other hose clamps and bits and pieces, and then the 3/16 straight through, but I don't think we really have a need for that. The 3/16 is, actually that's a good point, is the waste from this is going to straight to the drain, and because the drain is here, it's going to be probably easier to have this closer to the drain because you're not going to have that draped across the floor. So actually this might end up going closer to the source water tap because I can run it just behind the kettle and the whirlpool and just poke it down into the drain that way. Okay, so for the purposes of this, I think I'm just going to keep the 3/16 on there because it doesn't really matter. And we'll see what we might get to see what the flow's like. Let's size it up a bit, shall we? These are one of the best things ever. If you ever have loads of pipe work to do, is get one of these proper pipe cutters. This, ironically, I've had since I was an apprentice. So, answers in the comments on how long ago people think that was. So if we use the adapter, so we go into there, 3/16 on the output, pop that into place, and then we'll run a bit of, I don't think this white stuff is anything special, and then we'll run a bit of this. It doesn't really matter, does it? We'll run a bit of this just as the output from that. We can use this. We can probably put like a I've got like a 1 litre jug. We can time it and see how quickly, see how much flow rate we're actually coming. So if we, time how long it takes to fill a litre, that should in theory tell us the flow rate we're achieving. It says in all the literature, obviously your output flow will depend on the quality of your base water, which in theory our base water's not too minerally, if that's a word. So I'd hope to think we could achieve something good. So in theory, I should need to. You can buy tools to get these things out, because they are such. Oh, hello, because they are such a pain in the backside. There we go. So we'll keep that one. So that's the waste. Come here. So these little collars, you see them sometimes. Whether you can focus on that, these little collars. Oh no, don't get that. Oh, it's gone down the drain. I think I've got a couple more. Yeah, these little collars, they stop these push fits coming undone. Accidentally coming undone, but I think we'll be fine. So this is the waste. So that's then hooked up. So then actually, so we can plonk the waste down into the drain for now. This is obviously going to be our treated water, which we're interested in. We'll just pop that in there. So in theory, I should have enough length to connect this up. So let me get this onto the source water, and away we go. So in theory, shuffle that back a little bit more. So in theory, if I take this little collar out, and try not to lose this one. So again, that's one of these little collars. Stop you accidentally pulling these plugs out. So just to check. 2 water in. Water inlet. God, it's shiny. Bloody. So it's like shiny annoyingly. So it makes it really hard to read, which is really helpful. So we've got the water in here. Oops, fluff. So put that there. I'll pop the collar back on, just because, completeness. So, in theory, we have, that should be our water out. We should, in theory, be ready to go. So I'll switch it on. Oh, here we go. So it's switched on, it's doing stuff. Got no water. the pump is running for some reason. I can't really read what that says. It's a bit dark in here, if I'm honest. A firm select. So I think it's looking to see, I see it's flashing here, hang on a second. So this is what the screen's giving me. In theory, I've got a TDS reading, so a ppm reading and stuff. There we go. So actually, look, I've turned it on and it's detected that there's no water in it, which is kind of what you'd expect, right? Because I've not turned the water on. So what I'm going to do next, I think, is I'll turn the tap on, get some water onto it, in theory water here, and then we'll see what it does. In theory, it's got like the ability to detect leaks. It'll tell you, in theory, blockages across the filters. So this is going to be interesting. Let's turn the water on. Let's see if we get any leaks. Because I must admit, the connect these, doing up these and for the various filters, there's seals and stuff in there, but hopefully we won't have any leaks. So let's give it a go. Okay, so I've turned the water on. And I think I can hear water's going into one of the... I've not turned it on full bore because I want to see if we're able to pick up some leaks and maybe like pressurize it first. Oh, hello. Oh, it's picked something up because it's doing something now because there's no pressure in the system. This pressure gauge here, I think, is measuring the pressure. No, it's measuring the pressure in the RO section here. Don't think we've got there's no water coming out of the waste yet. But I can definitely hear it making its way through these filters. I'm going to go and... oh, hello. This is doing something else here now. Purify. I'm going to turn the water pressure up some more, I think, and then see what happens. Now, the system is definitely doing something. Now, we're quite blessed here because our water is the pressure here is absolutely epic. So I'll be interested to see if we need the pump, what pressure are we running at the moment. So this is the pressure going through the filter. That's like 2 and a bit bar by the looks of it. Yeah, 2 and a bit bar. So I'm guessing, looking at this reading here, I think this must be the ppm, the TDS of the water coming in, and as in total dissolved solids, as in the conductivity almost. Then this must be it coming back out again. I can hear a few noises, but I'm not seeing water leaking anywhere. It's not complaining about anything. I mean, if that is the ppm of the water coming out, then that's going to be pretty good. So I'm guessing it's purify stage. I'm guessing occasionally it'll do some kind of flush. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is running at 3 bar now. So that's wazzing its way through. What's the waste like? Oh yeah, look, there's the waste going there. Well, that's quite a lot, and that's very milky as well, isn't it? Geesh. This is the only downside to RO, like, is that's the water that's going straight down the drain. Although look at the ppm now, look. That is stripping everything out. And what's the actual source output like, I wonder? Oh, crikey. Yeah, that's coming out a good old lick as well. That's not bad, you know. And yeah, you never know. I mean, it might actually do 200 litres an hour, like it's saying. If it keeps going at the rate it is, that's quite impressive. I need to look this number up, see how that relates to kind of, you know, average kind of incoming water conductivity readings. 600 odd. Pressure is, it's not a, what is that? That's kilograms. Oh, it's in kilopascal, so it's not in what am I doing? It's up here, look. So that's not even in bar, so that's kilopascals and kilograms per centimetre cube. So I'll have to look that up pressurised, but feels pretty serious. So I've got to run this for about an hour and 10, I'm guessing, just to let these filters get bedded in, these pre-carbon filters, get the RO filters kind of set and happy and working. I mean, this is doing a great job as it is, but there's going to be some nasties in here you want to flush out before we go using it. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised so far. And let's have a quick look around the back. I'm not seeing any leaks anywhere, and it's kind of doing its thing. That's the high pressure pump for the filter. That's the valve, the safety release valve. Yeah, away we go. Job done. So the RO system's been running for 25 minutes now, nearly half an hour. The one interesting thing is actually the incoming PPM, so the incoming conductivity, TDS, has actually been dropping. It's been up at 600 and it's kind of dropped down to like 437 now. Outgoing is come down to basically nothing. I thought that's really interesting. Now, whether that's either the filters are working, well, no, it can be the filters, unless it's these incoming filters that prior to reaching the RO, so they are capturing more. Now they're getting wetted and becoming more effective. But yeah, so the next thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get a jug on the outgoing flow. We're on maximum pressure now, and see what kind of flow rate we're getting, and see if we can do a bit of a calculation for how long it's going to take us to gather 600 odd litres of RO water. So yeah, so I'm just going to let that run for an hour, basically an hour and a bit. I haven't got a conductivity probe. That's one thing I do need to buy, because I think that would be a useful thing to be able to keep an eye on what the TDS is doing, what the conductivity and the salt contents of the incoming water are like, and actually monitor that. I monitor the pH, and that moves around between 7.7 up to sort of 7.8, 7.9, but it's kind of fairly constant. But it'd be interesting to see how the mineral content moves around based on, you know, rainwater, groundwater conditions, that kind of thing. Because obviously it's going to affect this as well. The more that's in there, the more waste you're going to get, therefore the slower the output. So yeah, let's let it run, and let's see where we go. I might take a pH reading actually of the wastewater. I think that might be quite interesting to see as well, so I might do that quickly. So this is quite an interesting test, and this is actually, see, I'm supposed to be an expert, but actually this is something I hadn't thought about that I'd need to consider, so I'm kind of glad I've done this test. So in here is a sample of the wastewater coming off the RO system. So that has been left, and that's settled at 7.65. Now I know this thing is a bugger to calibrate. I know it's 0.1 out, so that would make this about, there you go, 7.66, so 7.7, which is what I was saying earlier. That's generally where the pH of the source water is. So that's quite interesting that that's not really changed the pH of the wastewater coming out, is kind of there and thereabouts. But if we then move the probes over, and that's obviously the temperature compensation in there as well, onto there, and let's see what this does to the pH reading of the RO'd water. So here we are. This is the pH check of the RO'd water. So this is the treated water that's come out in the RO system. The wastewater coming out is in that 7.7, 7.8 range, a bit like the base water. But our RO'd water here, look at this, 6.29, 6.229 there. So probably best part of 1.5 points lower than the source water. So this is definitely something I'm going to have to look at and take into account with blending that with my source water in the tank at a 50-50 rate. Obviously I know what I need to do at the moment to get the mash pH that I usually aim for, which is 5.3 with the right amount of acid additions. Well, now I'm definitely going to have to recalculate this now and come up with a way about managing this. So yeah, really, really interesting test and definitely worthwhile, and something if I hadn't thought of would definitely catch me out. So going to have to put some thought into this about how we calculate this for the next brew day. So we're going to install this now and then hopefully use it next. So yeah, very, very interesting and really, really worthwhile. Can't believe how low that pH is. So yeah, definitely a worthwhile thing to do. So yeah, I think I'd put this down as a general success really. RO system's working, the throughput, I've done a throughput calculation and it's working out about 2.4 hours to produce 600 litres, which is pretty much what they said it would do, which is good, which is exactly what we're looking for. I don't think that's too unreasonable. We're going to try doing a 50-50 blend to begin with. Maybe if we do like a Pilsner, we really want to go proper clean, then we might go 100%. I have done a little taste test actually, interestingly, and actually it's night and day. Even though our water here is super good, you put the RO water next to the straight tap water, and our water here at the tap is softer. There is that slight kind of, understandably, that slight chlorine element to it because it's got to be kept chlorinated. But it has a slight more minerality to it. Whereas, as you would expect, the RO water is just super crisp, clean. It is just a blank slate, which I think is going to be super good. Even with us building up a bit, I think it's going to just really clean out the beers even more. So I'm really excited about this. So yeah, next thing, I need to pick up the 22mm to 15mm tea and reducer and get all this hooked up properly. And yeah, let's get it underway. I'm really excited for this. Hey guys, so here we are, second evening, because I do a lot of this stuff in the evening. Second evening, I've managed to pick up bits and pieces I needed, a couple of reducers, elbows, 15 meters of 3/8 BSP, which I'll show you, 3/8 inch beer line, which I've used as the raw water feed, and then also obviously the treated water feed after the test down on the floor. A couple of things I've found along the way that I think might be useful for people if anyone else is considering getting one of these systems and you want to kind of put it remote or anything like that. I had previously installed it all over by the source water tap, and then I'd run a long line, about 12 meters, 30 meters of 3/8 of treated water round the outside, round like the services containment or tray work as I know it, round the outside, and that's why it's there for running all this sort of stuff planned ahead. And then up and just into I've just popped it into the top of the hot liquor tank for now. I've not put the tea in. But the RO system was over pressurizing, so it was behaving and acting like it thought it was feeding a tank and that the tank was full up and it was pressurized, so it'd stop. Of course, as soon as it'd stop, the pressure would drop because it was just an open end, so then start up again and then pressurize and then stop and drop and then start and go and start and go. And I eventually sat there and looked and thought, there's too much head pressure, there's too much friction in that long line. So this particular system doesn't like having to feed a lot against the pressure. I mean, it's pressurizing obviously the RO filters with the pump and all this sort of stuff. So what I've had to then do is relocate it closer to the hot liquor tank. And then you've got a short run of about 2-3 meters of treated water up into the hot liquor tank, and it runs quite happily. What it means is I'm going to have to kind of bring the wastewater hose, like coil it up, bring it out, pop it in the drain, and then when I'm finished, fold it away, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, we're not using it like every day. So yeah, and that seems to work. It seems to behave quite nicely. I think actually where it is now, and I'll show you all this in a sec, actually is not going to be too bad. The electrics are out the way. We don't generally hose around that area. So hopefully this should work out okay. So I'll just flip you around and I'll just show you what I've been doing. So originally, I'd mounted it here, and I'd have the treated water coming out of the tap into the filter, and then it would drop down onto here, and then I'd run it all the way around the outside, and I'll show you that in a bit, and then put it into there. But obviously, too much head pressure, too much friction in the line, and it was over pressurizing and stopping. So bit of a change of a plan. So obviously I've already run this hose anyway, so this was quite good. Not everything was a waste. I'd already run one of these 3/8 from here over towards the hot liquor tank, because that was going to be the treated water out. So I've just flipped that around, connected it onto here. As I said before, we've got everything running along the tray, or the services that I'd installed when I built all of this, running all the way down the side. So down here, look, all the way along the side. So you can't see it for benches, for love the money. And then up. And then I've just popped it to the top of the hot liquor tank. So what I've ended up having to do, which is not the end of the world, you know, you've got to think on your feet with these things a little bit sometimes, is I've ended up installing it here. So what I've done is I've picked up what was going to be the treated water out that went all the way up to the hot liquor tank. I've brought it round into the water in. Obviously it goes through the RO thing, comes out here, and then I've just cut it and then run it up and just popped into the top of the tank now. I've got the tea, I'll show you the tea that I've got to fit, but it's getting on 10:30 now, so I'm not mucking around with that now. I've been at work all day. And then, yeah, so the wastewater out, and I've just got this length here, and then it just pops into the drain, and I can just coil it up and then just pack it away. So it's relatively easy. It's just on like a 220 plug top. You can leave the water on, interestingly, and it doesn't like push its way through, even though the pressure here is really strong. So all I need to do is I've just reached around here and just flip the power on, and then it would appear, first run of the system, it runs a filter flush. So you can see there, it's just flushing the filters out. You still do get some production of water, but you can hear some, a valve inside opens and it just flushes it out. And you can see the output is dropping quite nicely anyway. The input actually is surprisingly clean. When I was test running that earlier, I was pleasantly impressed actually, which means our flow through and our filter life should be really good. So yeah. So obviously this then comes down to here, and you can just pop it down through there like that and just wedge it in there. And for the with the time I measured, it'll be like 2.5 hours, I think. 2 hours 20 to produce 600 litres. And I'm really excited to see what difference this makes. So this goes through, I can't remember how long it runs for, something like a minute or something. And this is every time you start it. You can see it's running at a lower pressure than it would do when it's in full production. I'm not sure whether this is flushing. I guess this must be back flushing the membranes rather than the carbon filters and the like, because I don't think there's a way in there to better do that. And there you go, see, look, and then it just jumps into production. You can see the pressure over there jumps up and the flow massively increases. And look at that incoming TDS, that's really low, but that's a really good sign. You can hear it actually properly run it through the filters. So yeah, and there you go. So our RO system is ready to go for our first brew day, which is in a couple of days' time. It's going to be on Saturday. Yeah, our first brew day, which is going to be on Saturday, is going to be a collab beer that we're making with another local bar that's been a great support for us and been buying our beer. And also, they have a love of running. Just like us, they've got an amazing run club, Olaf's. They're called Olaf's Bar in Southampton. Big shout out to them. So their run club is coming up. We're making a beer together. We're also going to go out for a run during the day, mid-brew day. I know we've got some food and games and loads of other stuff going on. So yeah, should be really good. I'm really excited. Really excited for the beer for this. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Just tasting the RO water, obviously, but you can really taste the difference. It's yeah, quite special. So yeah, so RO systems, there you go. And we'll kind of take you through it as we go. But yeah, that's how to put an RO system in your brewery. Well, research it, buy it, install it, take it back out again, and then go and install it somewhere else because you hadn't thought about feed pressure. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the video. If you'd like to see anything else, got some more videos coming, got some other stuff going on. Yeah, like, subscribe, tell your friends. See you soon.